All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome. I want to thank you for coming out tonight. We've worked really hard, some very dedicated, capable, well-respected engineers that put a lot of time in to present the information we're presenting to you tonight. Thank you again for coming out. I'd like to thank Goldsby for the use of the community center. If you have a device, let's go ahead and turn them off right now. There's a lot of different methods to comment tonight. So in your pamphlet, you should have one of these. Nothing is more important than we have your comments. It's very important that you share those with us. There are several different methods. We have the comment form, which may be the easiest. We certainly have mail. We provide a mail address. We have an email, and we have a phone number. And nothing is more important to us than understanding what the needs, desires, your likes, dislikes, comments, and concerns. Nothing is more important to us than the folks who drive through and use this interchange every day. So please take the time to let us know your thoughts, again, before you leave, or certainly before, I believe we got a December 9th deadline. I want to let you know that every question you have, we will answer. We're probably going to group them into groups, so your answer may not be specific to your question, but specific to a group of questions. So look forward to sharing that information with you when we get together to answer those questions. To help me better serve you tonight, help me out just a little bit. If you live in the area, raise your hand. Wow. Okay, great. If you work in the area, raise your hand. Great. What if you own, operate, or frequent a business in the area? Excellent. Do we have any first responders? I see one. All right, we got a couple. Well, thank you for coming out tonight. We set aside time at the end of the presentation to answer general questions. We want to publicly answer those questions that are general in nature. If your questions deal with specifics, we have a great staff of very talented people here tonight to help answer those questions. If your question is a comment, I would encourage you to submit that comment in writing to us tonight. And we have the facility reserved till 8 o'clock, but I want to let you know I'll be here as long as you're here, even if it's in the parking lot. I'll do the best I can to help you out. I want to start the introduction of Mr. Ron Brown. Mr. Ron Brown is the district engineer for District 3. It's in the 11 county area, and it's in south central Oklahoma. So Ron is the responsible in charge for all construction, all maintenance, and the day-to-day operation of the interstate and the highway system, state highway system within those 11 counties. He's got 31 years of experience. He's a registered professional engineer, and I'm proud to introduce him as Mr. Ron Brown, your presenter tonight, District 3 District Engineer. Ron?
Thank you, Brian. I want to say good evening to everyone. Can you hear me okay without the microphone? He's going to put me in front of the mic.
Yeah, I hear you.
Again, thank you all for being here this evening, and taking time out of your busy schedules to. I am very excited about this project and being able to present on this project tonight, because I've worked in this area and worked this corridor for about 20 years or so. And that'll be reflected in some of the history. So we're here to have our public meeting for concerning State Highway 9 West and I-35. A very important corridor to all of us. This evening, I'm gonna give you a little bit of our meeting purpose is really to talk a little bit about our existing interchange. I'm gonna give you the purpose of our project, a little bit of project history, and give you 4 interchange alternatives to consider. That's very important at the end of the day, that we have your input on what you think about the 4 options that we are absolutely 100% prepared to build. one thing that I want to leave you with right now is any of the four options that you've seen or that we present tonight, we believe are absolute solutions to the existing traffic that we are experiencing today and will be in 2050 or so. So nothing in between is to discourage you from thinking that we don't have a viable solution, whether the color code, but you'll see some of that later on. So, and also getting your public input in writing. Some of this is being recorded, but the official way to get it to us, and some of my counterparts will also tell you about that too, is in writing. It's very important to get your input to us, so that's part of our environmental process as well. Project location, again, we're going to be talking about State Highway 9 West and the junction of I-35 in McClain County, a little bit south of the Canadian River. It's an interchange that we are very familiar with by all the hands that I saw go up. Our existing State Highway 9 project really goes over I-35, and I-35 has 4 lanes currently through on the north side of the State Highway 9 bridge. Our footprint for those that typical section consists of a 30-foot wide paved median with concrete barrier, 10-foot inside and outside shoulders to accommodate to supplement with those 4 lanes of travelway. You'll notice a little bit further north towards the bridge, there's also additional lanes that come into play that we will utilize in all of these designs, alternatives that we're going to show this evening. South of State Highway 9 bridge, our typical changes a little bit in that we have a 30-foot wide grass median with cable barrier, 4-foot inside shoulder and 10-foot outside shoulder. The average daily traffic through this area on I-35 currently is about 81,500 vehicles today, and we're projecting that to go up to about 128,000 vehicles a day. On State Highway 9, currently we have 4 lanes of travelway on an 80-foot wide bridge. We have incorporated a few turn lanes, left turn bays and some right turn lanes. It also has 2 10-foot wide shoulders on both sides. The current traffic on State Highway 9 over I-35 is 34,690 vehicles per day, and we're projecting that to accelerate to 58,900 vehicles a day in 2050. Our existing interchange as it sits today is a partial clover leaf. On the west of I-35, we have diamond ramps with southbound travelway exiting to State Highway 9. We have State Highway 9 traffic entering on to southbound I-35. In the southeast quadrant, we have the loop that goes eastbound to northbound I-35. We also have the northbound exit ramp that exits to State Highway 9, where you can go east or west. And in the northwest quadrant, we have free flow of really eastbound traffic traveling eastbound on State Highway 9, going northbound on I-35. What's the purpose of this project? The purpose of our project is to address address increase in traffic volumes and localized congestion by constructing the interchange to improve the operations. Some of the project history. The existing interchange was constructed in 1959, and it served its purpose well until we started getting economic development and all of the traffic generators that we see that are really good. Back in 2001, the H.E. Bailey Turnpike to connect State Highway 9 west to I-35 was constructed by OTA. And at that time was probably some of the time that I began working closely in this corridor. I became the District 3 construction engineer in 2001, and so I worked on just about all of those projects that we will do subsequent to this construction. So around 2001, we started planning. 2003 to 2008, ODOT, we had to play a little catch up, start developing and constructing and widening State Highway 9 to 4 lanes from H.E. Bailey to connect to I-35 and to get to this interchange that we're talking about tonight. Around 2004, we recognized the need that the existing interchange, as it was constructed in 1959, needed some modifications, particularly on the west side of the interchange. We redone the loop ramps and put diamond interchanges on the west side. We also realigned South Harvey Road and or 12th Avenue, or the West Frontage Road as we were referred to it. 2009, in this corridor, during all of this, one of the worst features that I had to deal with, and the thing that kept us up at night, was the State Highway 9 bridge prior to 2009 was our worst bridge in our district. It was the absolute problem child that we had from a structurally deficient bridge standpoint. So it was time to work on that. So we had a program in plan. So we replaced the State Highway 9 bridge to its current state now, the 80-foot wide bridge that I talked about earlier. We also did a little bit of work on the ramp, if you notice. We added the second lane so that we can improve some of the free flow efficiency, and we modified the signalization at that time around 2009. Then the real work began, and we started programming and planning for an interchange at this junction. And from that point on to 2009, we've had all kinds of ideas in our heads. A lot of iterations, a lot of collaborations, and a lot of talk, mainly with some of our engineering partners in the consulting world, a lot in-house. Brings us to this meeting today, to where through all of what I've just shown on the last slide, that we're confident, with a high degree of confidence, that any of these 4 alternatives that we're going to present tonight are solutions to our interchange at I-35 and State Highway 9 West. We've labeled them through the iterations that we came to as alternate 2A, alternate 2B, alternate 3D, and alternate 4. And I'll explain them in detail here in a minute. Alternate 2A is a divergent diamond interchange, relatively new to our state. DDIs are used in other states. We do have a functioning DDI today at, I believe it's I-40 and State Highway 6 at Elk City. So this DDI, if chosen by you and I as a group, would be the second one in the state. What's unique about a DDI? Some of the key features specifically for this project is this DDI, as we've configured it, it increases the, excuse me, let me go back one. It increases the signal spacing it increases the existing signal spacing through a partial realignment of South Harvey Road. It also realigns the West Frontage Road a little bit. Other key features of this divergent diamond is that both directions of traffic will cross over to opposite sides of the bridge, on the bridge crossing I-35, i.e. they will diverge to the total opposite side that we are used to create some efficiencies of interchange. And interchanges of this detail are able to really handle high volumes of traffic, and I'll go into that in a little more detail here in a minute. Some of the operations of that DDI when it does cross, this is showing what we call a stop condition. When the signal's in a stop condition, that's the direction of travel. So on that signal phase, you basically have 2 signals, which if this was the option chose, currently we have 2 signals out there. It would increase the number of signals out there to 3. During the first phase, there's really 2 phases that are required to handle all of the movement through a DDI. And in phase 1, this is our stop condition. So you get a little green light for everyone else. And in that green light, you're able to do eastbound traffic on State Highway 9 can travel northbound on I-35. That's eastbound and northbound. You could also go eastbound to continue through. You can go eastbound to southbound. Additionally, in that phase, you're able to go westbound or southbound to westbound on I-35. You're also able to go southbound off that I-35 ramp and continue on eastbound. You're also able to do what some refer to as a Texas turnaround or U-turn. You can go southbound and back northbound if you choose to. During phase 2, at stop condition, the other movements are able to be performed. You can go westbound on I-35 to northbound. You can go westbound to westbound, just continue through by diverging to the opposite side and then coming back up through the ramp, through the light. You can also go diverge to the opposite side and continue southbound. And lastly, in that same signal phase, you can go off the northbound I-35 ramp. You can continue to the east. You can go northbound to westbound. You can go make another Texas turnaround or a U-turn to go northbound off of the ramp and go back southbound if you need to make a U-turn. Divergent diamond interchange, what is that? It's an interchange in which two directions of traffic on the non-freeway side cross to the opposite side of the road on both sides of the bridge, i.e. they diverge on the opposite side of the traffic. One thing in the previous slide, divergent diamonds have an acronym. I'm not a big acronym person, but you'll often hear them referred to as DDIs. DDIs. So DDIs can reduce congestion by eliminating the need for separate left turn arrows at the ramps. DDIs reduce the wait time. Divergent diamond interchanges can carry higher capacities for interchange with heavy ramp volumes. And DDIs do that by using additional medians, additional signing and striping on the roadway to make the routes very clear. Alternative 2B, you'll notice that it also is a divergent diamond, but it introduces a reliever ramp for the southbound traffic going southbound I-35 to go onto the west frontage road. Some of the similar key features that you'll notice real quickly is that it still increases the signal spacing through the full realignment of South Harvey Road and the realignment of the west frontage road. This realignment of the west frontage road, different than the other one, is necessary because it restores continuity because of this southbound reliever ramp. From this point, south to Lamar Road becomes a one-way street, so we have to restore the connectivity back for northbound 12th Avenue, if you will, or the west frontage road to be able to reconnect and travel back towards the interchange and get through. But all other features that I've shown in the other one, the DDI, are exactly the same when it comes to the ability for the DDI to carry very, very large volumes of traffic that we're projecting in the future and definitely handle the existing traffic. Alternative 3D is what we're calling a loop interchange with reliever ramp as well. Some of the key features that we show here, again, all of those options that we've shown tonight increase the signal spacing through the full or partial realignment of South Harvey Road. It also reconnects the frontage road similar to option 2B because of the reliever ramp that we've been able to create. Also becomes a one-way from this point. So it restores the connectivity to our county road system or 12th Avenue, back up over and around. In this option, some additional key features is eastbound State Highway 9 West travels through northbound through the loop. So that's on the this loop right here going northbound. So eastbound traffic traveling to northbound. It creates the reliever ramp that we talked about. It also creates a loop west of I-35 that directs westbound State Highway 9 to the west frontage road. And so that's this westbound travel going through the loop, going to the westbound frontage road. This is also the westbound travel route to go to southbound I-35. Additionally, it introduces a roundabout east of I-35 to facilitate the northbound off-ramp going westbound. You also can take that, go through the roundabout to go eastbound from northbound. And it handles the traffic that goes, currently is showing that the northbound ramp it's not able to go northbound to northbound. So very, very efficient interchange. So we have a high degree of confidence that it can handle the traffic that's presented out there today and in the future. The last alternative we're asking you to have some public input on is called Alternative 4. It's a single point urban interchange, also known as a SPUI. Some of the key features of this SPUI detailed specifically for this interchange, you'll notice that the signal spacing again is increased through the partial or full realignment of South Harvey Avenue. And additionally, it's similar to Alternative 2A, just a minor adjustment of the west frontage road is also required. The main key feature of the SPUI is that it's a very compact and large footprint that can handle very large volumes of traffic with high ramp traffic. And the main feature is because it's called a SPUI, it takes every direction of just about all of the movements, not all of them, but most of the movements through a single traffic signal system. It's a huge monopole with several signal heads on it, but they all go through one point. About 80% of the movements go through that. In the signal phasing for a SPUI, there's really about 3 main phases through it. With the stop conditions for the SPUI, you could have a scenario where you have I-35 traffic going northbound to eastbound. That's this movement here. You can have southbound to westbound, Highway 9. You can have State Highway 9 traffic going westbound to northbound, and also going, westbound to southbound and eastbound to northbound. Phase 2 of the light, you can have eastbound traffic and westbound traffic going through. You can also have eastbound traffic going south, eastbound to south. You can have westbound traffic to northbound, and you can have westbound through traffic. In the final signal phase, phase 3, stop condition, you can have I-35 traffic, the northbound going westbound. If you're going north, but the northbound off-ramp to westbound. You can have the southbound ramp going east. You can have the westbound traffic, westbound going north. You can have eastbound traffic going south. What's a single point urban interchange? It's an interchange with a single signalized intersection in the center of the bridge. It's able to accommodate most of the movements through that single traffic signal. SPUIs can accommodate higher turning capacities. SPUIs can handle large vehicles such as trucks, and they can easily navigate through wide turns through a SPUI. SPUIs also use additional signing and striping on the roadway to make their routes very clear. We put together kind of a measure of effectiveness. And again, when I opened up, I said, nothing on here, even the red is to, other than in the no bill, is to construe this to imply that any of these interchanges won't work. We are absolutely confident that any of the 4 alternatives that I've talked about and that you see in the back will work in this interchange. What we've put together is kind of a comparison between one another as it relates to delays, average speeds through this interchange. What's the average travel time going through it? How many vehicles are in our throughput through our models and our engineering data, and the average number of stops. And you can see if we do nothing through the existing, and we just let it compare itself to each of the options, not in an effort to sway anyone. That's what that data is telling us, that relative to one another, this is what we see from a good, very good to excellent to poor status. Now I'll turn it over to Melissa.
So in addition to those operational things that Ron just went through, ODOT also looked at several different things over all the alternatives, and that includes the environmental impacts. So these are some of the typical things that ODOT goes through and looks at through for each project. Some of those things include things like wetlands and waters, threatened and endangered species. They comply with the historic properties in compliance with the National Historic Preservation Act. They look at travel properties, utilities, that sort of thing. So for this particular project, the impacts that they saw were, there's a Canadian River habitat impacts that may occur, so some best management practices and things to control the sediment would need to be required on the project. There's a potential impact for the whooping crane habitat as well, so similar. They would avoid construction during the migratory bird nesting season, so that would be like seasonal construction, or netting of those structures to prevent the birds from putting their nests so they don't destroy them. Additionally, there's some off-site cultural resources sites that will be avoided during the construction. But going through all these impacts, the main thing is that all 4 of them have the same impact, so none of these impacts are more severe with any of the alternatives. They're all about equal. And with that, I'll hand it back to you, Ron.
I want to make a minor correction. The impacts are similar. They're not the same. They have similar right-of-way and environmental constraints. There'll be similar utility impacts, but they're not the same. Some of the alternatives have longer frontage road work and bridge work, et cetera, et cetera. So, but we absolutely believe that they're consistent and similar impacts. We also believe that all 4, is this the environmental screen? I'm sorry. What do we see in all 4 of our alternatives? All of our alternatives improve our traffic operations at the interchange for I-35 instead of Highway 9 West. All of the 4 alternatives that we've shown this evening, we believe that the construction can be completed with no property acquisitions and no frontage road work east of I-35. We believe that in these alternatives, the existing signal space is going to be increased between the southbound I-35 ramp and South Harvey Road through the realignment to help improve operations. And all of the South Harvey Road realignments improve our traffic flow to and from our local businesses. We've also put together, again, a table of pros and cons, not in an effort to do anything other than just do a general comparison of each of the 4 alternatives. We did this internally to just look at various things and compare them to one another, which one has the least delays in 2050, things like, which one reduces traffic conflict points the most, and how do you compare those to one another? We also saw some things that were neutral to each of the four alternatives. And then on the bottom list, there's several cons that we kind of saw that any of the options could have. So try to give you a complete picture. We also wanted to put together some sort of overall interchange or alternative comparison, comparing the no bill to any of the four options that we've presented. Again, I don't want any of the red or other colors to in any way imply that something that you see in this table constitutes that is not a viable option for this interchange, this work that we're contemplating. We are absolutely 100% prepared to construct and implement either of these four options. But you can see the things that we just looked at in the table, just comparing one to another. No bill is not applicable, say, construction costs. Our construction costs is range from $18.8 million up to $32 million. You can see the variation in construction time that we have to deal with through an interchange. All that's important data that we like to know when we're trying to make decisions. Go ahead, Melissa. I'm going to turn it back over to Melissa.
So we've said it several times. I think each of us have said it, but we'll do it again. It is very important to ODOT to hear everybody's comment, to know your concerns. So we mentioned there's several different ways to do that. So I'm going to go through those for you so you know what you can do. So first, you can leave your comments with us tonight. Back there on the right in that blue box is what we call our comment box. In your pamphlet, there is that comment form. There's also more on the table. If you need a pen, let us know. You can fill that out tonight and leave it there in that box, and we'll take it with us tonight. Additionally, you can download and submit a comment form at ODOT's website. That's the URL right there. That is also included in your pamphlet and also in the mailings if you received one. And so you can submit a comment through there. And just as a side note, all this meeting material will also be on that website, that same URL. You can also submit your written comment by mail. Here is the mailing address. Next to that blue comment box in the back are some postage paid envelopes for you. Feel free to take one, as many as you need. You can take that home, think about it, look at the material online, fill it out, and send it back to us with that envelope. You can also email your comments. This is the email address. This is also included in your pamphlet. Or you can call and leave your comments in a message. We do ask that your message be detailed. That way, when we receive the message, we're able to respond to you and know what your comments are and who we can get the right person to respond to you with. And we do ask that you submit your comments by December 9th. That way we can have everything and ODOT can go through them all and discuss them and be able to get back to you guys. So I'll hand it back to Ron.
What's next for us here at ODOT? Our next steps, as Melissa is kind of led us to, is that we're going to consider all of our comments from our public meeting process. We're going to select a preferred alternative after that, shortly after that. We need to complete our environmental documents. We'll begin our right-of-way acquisition, and we'll begin our utility relocations in that federal fiscal year 2022. And we hope to begin construction in FY 2023. Very, very aggressive schedule. And that ends our PowerPoint presentation. We'll now take questions.
If you have a question, we'd encourage you to step up to the microphone at this point, or I can bring the microphone to you. Again, this is your meeting. We need to have as much information, understand your concerns, understand your likes and dislikes. If your question is general nature, this is the perfect forum for it. If it's more specific, after taking open Q&A, we're going to go back to our stations and we can answer your questions there. You can see that we engineered our way through this. We provided you with a great deal of information. Really excited about it. I hope you use it all to help make your decision and provide your comments. A lot of very talented people worked very hard. on bringing all this into a colored dot on a matrix. We ran all these through some very sophisticated traffic models and that take a lot of time to do. So all the information we're providing you tonight, we're extremely confident in, and we would be more than happy to answer any of your questions. I forgot to introduce myself at the very beginning. So my name is Brian Taylor. I'm the chief engineer for the Oklahoma Department of Transportation. I know a lot of folks in here. I'm happy to be here, always happy to be here, and I will be here as long as you're here tonight. I look forward to hearing your questions. Yes, sir.
First of all, thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it. Got a quick question. I think it's either option 3 or 2. I can't remember now. If you could throw those two. Maybe it's the other one. Yeah, okay. So my question is on one of these, it's either 2 or 3, going eastbound on Highway 9, coming from the west, eastbound, over the I-35 bridge, during these construction or with one of these options, which one will or will not allow scofflaws to continue to make the illegal left turn?
So a couple of things. The beauty of the DDI is that for that movement, you only have to go through one traffic signal. Ron talked a lot about traffic signals, but for a DDI or diverging diamond, you're going to go through one. If you're going east and are coming from the west, going east, and you're going north on 35, you're going to go through one traffic signal. You're going to be shifted to the opposite side of the road, and then you're going to have a free left. The same with if you're going left. The DDI allows you a free left. It also allows you a free right on the off ramp. So the beauty of it is that you only have to go through one traffic signal. The SPUI, again, one traffic signal. So in this location, if you're coming from this direction, you're going to go through one traffic signal, hit this, and make this movement. If you're on the loop, you're going to have a direct loop around. That would be the loop option. So on this, you still have one traffic signal to go through. You hit this loop. This is a dual lane loop going north, and obviously we're going to have your own lanes of sufficient length before we merge you into I-35. And then the SPUI, again, you go through one deal. So a SPUI, I'm using acronyms again. So let's say Morgan Road on I-40 and Lindsay on 35. That's what a SPUI is. A DDI, again, is a diverging diamond. We have one in Elk City. Ron is building one, very aggressive time frame because that's what we promised. We'll start construction in calendar year 23. We're building one at Waterloo in 35, and we're building one in Tulsa at 81st and 75. Just a great option to handle a lot of volume. Did I answer your question?
I think
So.
by saying basically one of the options, there is still opportunity for people to make the illegal left loop one.
So we make the illegal left a permissive left, and we call it a Texas turnaround, and it's what we're trying to do. And that works very well with the DDI. You can also do that with the SPUI. And one of the other things with the diverging diamond is it virtually eliminates, you can't say all, but 99.9% of wrong way maneuvers on I-35 from 9 west, it virtually eliminates them. The accidents that occur there are of less consequence because you're going at slower speeds. And you lessen the number of conflict points. So a conflict point is when two travel paths overlap. That's a conflict points. You reduce those conflict points. I think it's like 16 less conflict points. We'll have to count, but that's one of the benefits of it. Saw your hand? Okay, yeah. Ron, I don't want to hog the mic, brother. You got one. Fill in where I left out.
Got any more questions? Yes, ma'am.
So on 2B and 3D, where we've got the feeder reliever ramp, yeah, is the purpose of that, is the purpose of that to let people that live off to the southwest back into their neighborhoods without getting on 9? Or is the purpose of that to let people get into the casino without going on 9? Because that is a really congested area right there.
So it's a collector road, and if you remember, I talked about connectivity to the section line road. That's 12th Avenue and or the west frontage road, as we call it. But, so the reliever ramp is a collector road to tie into the west frontage road on 12th Avenue. So it serves both purposes. You can go south on 12th Avenue if that's what you choose to do, or you can go south to Lamar Road and turn west if that's what you choose to do. But it's absolutely a collector road to help with the frontage road system.
Great question. It's a connection to a local road, and it prevents you from having to go on 9 West and make a left-hand turn. Left turns are a problem. So who does it benefit? It benefits everybody in that area that would be serviced by that local road. Possible benefits of a connection down to Goldsby in the future. At least when I look at it, I see that this has an opportunity to take some traffic off 9 West, left turn traffic. It's a good question.
Great question.
Had a few questions on southbound I-35 on the river bridge. Is that going to be 2 lanes of traffic coming across that tie into Highway 9 West?
Yes, sir. You see that's 2 lanes of traffic.
Okay. So from Lindsay Street all the way across the bridge is 2 lanes of traffic that will dump onto Highway 9 West unencumbered, basically, without a light or anything.
Well, you have a signal here, but unencumbered.
Right.
This one way currently has one.
Okay. And has there been any consideration, I emailed this to you guys, I don't know if anybody got it, but instead of bringing Harvey out there on the east side of Love's, taking it all the way over and coming out next to west side of Sonic, so you don't have this light there, you only have the light all the way down at Sonic Drive and Bankers Drive, which would, because right now you're increasing that about 100 feet from where it is right now. So like this afternoon, I don't know what time you guys came home, but I came home at 5:30 and it was backed up all the way looped around Lindsay Street. So that's another, thing. I didn't know if that was even an option to go behind, because at this point, there will be no entrance off of Highway 9 into Love's, correct? You have to turn on Harvey to go into Love's and come in and out of Love's that way.
As it's currently drawn and proposed, it affects this drive below.
One or both drives?
One, just one drive. And to answer your question, again, I showed a plethora of alternatives that talked about what we have looked at from 2009 up into 2010. And during that study, some of the talk about realigning that portion of Harvey Road behind Love's may have been discussed and was discussed. But my focus and my charge was reinvigorated to do what I have shown in my construction program for more than 8 or 9 years, is to fix the interchange. And that's what I'm doing. That's what we're doing as an agency. We have been refocused to deal with the 35,000 to 58,000 vehicles traveling west and east on 9 through the interchange, and dealing with the 81,000 to 128,000. So my charge is to fix the interchange.
And that traffic in and out of Love's is part of that interchange, because that's where it backs up.
All of that traffic, regardless of whether you're going home to the casino, going to the 9 spur, all of those numbers are considered in what we are trying to accomplish with any of these four alternatives, to make a very efficient interchange, to try to push people through here with minimal amount of delay.
Thank you. I want to ask a follow-up question with, you want to improve the flow on the interchange, but then if you improve that, it causes other bottlenecks, such that I live 2 miles southwest of the casino, and when I exit southbound going westbound, you can tell who's going to casino and who's not going to casino. So is there gonna be something done with those two left-hand turns into the casino? Because that's a potential safety concern, I believe, that could potentially even be more of a problem in the future.
So that's a great question, and thank you for it. At the signal light, there will be protected left-hand turn provided. The timing and coordination of these signals are going to have to be maximized during those peak hours. When that traffic, that southbound I-35 exits for 9 West, the traffic lights will need to be coordinated. Under all these options, the delay times that we provided, for the delay times, if you want to see how long it takes you to get through there, it's for the interchange in the surrounding area. So it's not just the interchange itself. And so you can equate those driving times or those delay times to the experience that you'll have going through with different design options. Every design option, this goes back to the first question, every design option has a dual southbound free right on the 9 West. Every option, I believe, Ron. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Yes.
Trying to get them all four.
Is there going to be improved road lighting along that corridor there between the highway and the casino? Because when you're trying to turn from one of those signals onto Highway 9, you cannot see the lanes. There's no, where the signal lights are, the street lights, they're not on, and they haven't been on for 12 years. And I've lived there next to this gentleman for 9, and only one light, and that's on the Sonic Drive side of that intersection there, is on. And when you come out of that Bank Drive, or you come off of one of these other light areas, you can't see the lanes in the highway. You don't know whether you're turning into a turn lane or turning into your own lane there.
Question, and as I understand it. One, I definitely need to talk to you before we get out of here. The striping and lane configuration is absolutely my responsibility to make sure it's clear. Second part of it is, with us redoing interchanges and adding new lane configurations, all of this area is going to get restriped, especially if we do some of the three of the most of these design options. One thing that I failed to mention was, and you may have caught on to it in a subtle way, options 2A, 2B, 3D all utilize the existing bridge as it is today. The spooling is such a large footprint that it will require the total reconstruction of that bridge over 9 West. And you, when I say it was subtle, you definitely notice the difference in the cost, with these schools being up around $32 million. And the timeframe, yes, sir.
So, the gentleman over here before asked about 2 lanes coming over on 35. Are we gonna have the exit-only lane for 9 like it is now? Because there's a lot of traffic that if we only have 2 lanes and not the exit only, that's gonna be a problem, I think.
The southbound, in most of the configurations, the way that the models ran, it created the spot to where you begin the double 2 lanes. And on the 3D option where it's free flow, as it approaches the signalized movements and options 2A and 2B for sure, there may be times when, let me make sure, look at the signal. Uh-oh. All right. Let's see which one it was. If you notice, here you have the 2 double lanes, and they don't go through the light.
So two throughs, all the way through, it's a free ride. It is a dual, those 2 lanes come off the interstate as only lanes. You're still gonna have through lanes, right now you have 2 through lanes now, and then you will end up having 2 only lanes. Hopefully, if Ron keeps working as hard as he's working, we'll have the 3 lanes over, the river, matching the 3 lanes over the Red River one day. That would be his goal, to have that happen in the near future.
So is it a one lane, I'm sorry, is it the one lane to turn left to come back across? Or is there 2 lane there too?
So this
Right there.
this movement, you don't have to go through the signal light.
Yeah, that's the signal lines.
Yeah,
That one lane right there.
okay. This, you come over here, this is 1 lane right here. This is 2 lanes only, which drops into a decision of 1 lane if you wanna go back left. And then this is a free left, because now you're on the wrong side of the highway, going the wrong
that's what I was
direction.
gonna say.
But then we're gonna bring you back over, so you have to go through this signal light to come back over.
Is it gonna be a roundabout there though?
The roundabout exists on the loop option.
Loop 3.
There is no roundabout.
Yes, sir.
There are no roundabouts in the other options, only the green loop option has the roundabout in it, and it's only on the east side of the interchange.
Yeah, and on the east side there, I have property on both sides. But the roundabout, we have a lot of semis, race trailers, all kinds of stuff, you know, that are long through there. These roundabouts, as you can tell, this is right down here, is just a pain in the butt.
Yeah. So a couple things about them is the roundabouts are designed for trucks, but we design them for trucks to get out of the travel lane. The tracking of the trailer tracking goes on what we call the apron. So we have the driving lane that we want the cars to stay in, but if the truck, the cab of the truck, stays in the driving lane and you're a legal truck, then the truck trailer, the tractor part of it, the trailer of it, will track, and it tracks up on top of the apron. And that apron is designed for trucks.
Did they go there?
Well,
Nobody in the United States knows that. That's all Europe.
roundabouts are very new to the state of Oklahoma. They're new to us. And there's a couple of things about them is they use them a lot and use them very successfully in Kansas. You've had some things called traffic circles in Oklahoma that were a nightmare that you're associating as a roundabout, and a modern roundabout is completely different. The tough part of a roundabout is 70% of the public hate them before you build one, and then 6 months after you build it, 70% of the traffic wish you would have had it there the whole time. And so that's the interesting thing about it, it's smooth. And once you go through it, you're gonna want a lot of other places, because now you get to go through an intersection that would be signalized otherwise, and now you free flow through it, especially during non-peak hours. And you go in as a peak, the only rule you got learning curve that comes with them, and there's certainly a flaw in the confidence level of roundabout from first day you had it to 6 months after you had it. And boy, do they save a lot of maintenance monies on traffic signals. How many times have you pulled up to a traffic signal and you waited and the signal didn't know you were there, so it didn't give you a green light because the loop detector was broken? Or the camera, there was a glare coming off your windshield and the camera couldn't distinguish a car being there, so now you wait through like 3 signal phases, 3 times, full-time phases before you go. You don't have that with a roundabout. So you're gonna see your local governments want to use them, and you're gonna see more of them in the state of Oklahoma, but what you're gonna see from us is I'm not gonna tell you what you want. We stumped our toe with time or two, and I'm not gonna tell you what you want or what you need. That's why we're here tonight. Ron's told you time and time again that we're prepared to build any one of these, but I hope you can see some of them cost more than other ones. Some of them work better than other ones, but we need you to tell us what you like. That's what we're here for, yes.
Ron, sorry. I'm
Got a quick question. Got a quick question, not so much about the actual exchange, but what kind of forecast have you guys conducted as far as the zoning and the future zoning and the business that's not here today, but the landscape may change, whether it's residential or light commercial and such?
So I'm going to tell you that we have a lot of smart people that do that. And the traffic models that we have take in growth. And it looks at the use of the property, the land use. It looks at how many existing parking spots are there now. It looks at surface area available for development. It looks at what are they events? Are they, is it a convenience store where it's in and out real short trips, or are they real long trips? These guys are really good at what they do. And they generate these models that in turn generate future traffic volumes. Are they right every time? No, they're not. We thought it would take 20 years for the Hefner Parkway to ever reach full capacity. The 3rd year we had it open, we reached our 50-year traffic volume. So we're not perfect, but we try very hard at it, and we have nothing but the best working on it.
Ron, could you put 2B up there, please? Just so you'll know, I'm Glenn Berglund, Mayor of Goldsby. We've looked at all of these. We've had a lot of meetings on them and all. But in 2B, to make some comments on that, as they've stated, there'll be 2 lanes if you're southbound on I-35 going on to Highway 9, which that will help some. You've got those lights farther apart. That will help. But that reliever ramp where you go under the overpass and go off, if you're going to Casino from the north, you'll want to go that way and go back around and in Casino. We've also met with the Chickasaws, and they would like to build a street from the end of that reliever ramp where it goes on to 12th across to the Casino. And I think that'll even help better. But make a little more comments what Brian was talking about their models of development and all. We've got 2,000 residential homes planned right now on the west side of Goldsby, dirt works going on for the construction. So there's going to be a tremendous amount of activity in this area for many years to come, and it'll just continue. But all of them will work, but we've looked at it time and time again, and this 2B really looks good. I just want to put my plug in.
These microphones up at the front and the back. You don't have to raise your hand necessarily, as you can also step in front of one of these microphones. So that's another option you have.
I like all the options. You did good. But I live on 12th Street, 12th Avenue, about 2.5 miles to the south. And I grew up in Kansas, so I've only been here about 5 years, but I like roundabouts. But I've always been confused at what I call the idiot stop sign at Lamar and 12th. Because 12th Street seems to me like it ought to be a through street. And they'd have a stop sign on Lamar, but everybody always has to stop. So what I'm interested in knowing is you have the relief road coming off there. And so now if I'm coming to the north on 12th Street, now that will be a one-way street and I'm going to have to turn left. So is that a spot for a roundabout?
Great question. Very, very good question. So a couple things you need to know is when you bring this ramp off I-35, this becomes one way. That's the reason why you need this. So if you're going to have a one-way connection at this three-way intersection, the intersection is going to have to look a little different. One of the options that we looked at and modeled was certainly a roundabout. And if we had our choice and you asked us what we prefer today, we think a roundabout at that intersection is what would work the best. I wanted somebody to point it out. I didn't want to influence everything, but that was a great question. Thank you. He's had his hand up for a while. There you go. Yeah, I'm so sorry.
I'll make mine quick here. I have a couple of comments about the light that you're moving over towards Love's, if you can point that out. I sent my suggestion in is that I'm hoping that maybe there's a turning lane there to the right for those that go towards the Loves, especially the trucks. If there's an extra turning lane just for the trucks so that they can turn right and then go in back behind Loves, do their thing there. But also, it seems like it's often you'll see those trucks just, when they're leaving Love's, they'll just pull out. They'll stop traffic in both directions. I don't know if anybody's commented on this yet. I came in a little late, but my suggestion as I sent in is if it's possible to add an exit lane for them that goes around the Sonic and uses that light.
Please put that in the form of a comment for us.
I did.
Thank you. The answer to that is yes, those are possibilities. We certainly want to get a comment, written comment from you on it. Finally, let's go.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so I have two questions for you. One of them, you made mention about funding. Have you secured funding for all four options? And two, you said, hey, we have some better options. We have some things that we prefer. Being the technical engineer expert, which is the one you prefer?
So Ron is prepared to build any one of these. He's got it programmed for how much? 25.9 in his program right now? About 24.5 million he has set aside to pay for this. And the one thing neat about the state of Oklahoma is the 8-year construction work plan, and it is a physically balanced program. And the beauty of it is we don't spend money we don't have, but we do our very best to build 8 years from now what we tell you we're going to build. 99% of the projects in the 8-year plan eventually get built. We build 75% of them on time, not bad. We run into a few utility issues every once in a while and an environmental issue or two, but Ron, his promise to you is 2023, calendar year. So what that means is he's going to have to figure out where the other money's coming from, and something's going to have to come out. It's all about priorities. And
I said it in the beginning of the presentation, I've got to work this corridor for a while, and we've programmed this project for at least 8, 9, maybe 10 years. And so I've only had in the program what was been described as interim solution. And so I was at, for many, many years, I had a leader at the time, but we were at about $6 million on this interchange. So over the last 4 years, once we started getting some better data, better possibilities, better solutions. We've gradually increased that and caught up, tried to catch up the program. My responsibility, like Brian said, is to really be able to manage the program. So last year we were talking, we rebalanced every year, you know, and at the last minute I'm looking at my leaders and said, man, you know, I want to put a little bit more money on, you know, this interchange because, you know, I'm seeing some things that could fluctuate. So I think I increased it probably about $3-4 million this year. So if it comes to the latter option and that's what we want to build, we'll try to do it without sacrificing safety and mobility somewhere else. But it can be done.
That's a great question.
What I prefer right now is all of them. They're solutions. They're absolute solutions. You know, if you were to, you know, buy me some coffee or something, you know.
It's just gonna allow us to do what is, and you said you wanted a 3-lane highway.
I do get excited.
What option does?
Yeah, I do get a little more excited when my eyes look at maybe 2B and 3D.
Okay, so I have two things. The first one is when you're talking about the 2 lanes that come off the highway southbound onto Highway 9, one of the biggest pinch points are people getting off, going onto Highway 9, and that green arrow is facing Loves. So people don't know that they have an unencumbered turn. And that little stick wall that's there, it's falling apart, doesn't give people the confidence to turn that corner. So if we've got 2 lanes turning and another one coming when they've got a green light, what's going to tell those people that they can just keep on going? Because there's not a sign up that says you've got your own lane. What is going to tell people keep moving?
Well, most if not all of these options remove those stick lanes, number one, and most of them don't have the signal heads for them. So it's all free flow.
Okay, so then the next question follows up on Mr. Lloyd's point. Each intersection through there has one single lamp where there's 4 lights, but only one is lit. All of the traffic signal colors, red, green, and yellow, need to be changed. There's a very bad accident right in front of Sonic just today where a pickup truck rear-ended another pickup truck going full speed because when that light turns yellow, you cannot see it.
And I appreciate that. And again, I'm never one to throw anyone in, but safety is mine, total responsibility. There's some things with signals that the Department of Transportation, we don't maintain them, but I will talk to my counterparts who are responsible for those.
And then who maintains that little stick wall?
The stick wall is mine.
Okay, please, for the love of God, please have somebody come out there and clean it up and replace the ones that are broken.
Here's one thing that, and again, not to harp on it, but the sticks, the tube sticks and dividers, they are meant to be hit, but not hit, if that makes sense. So they can take a certain amount of impact. And if I had an unlimited amount of money, I would go out there and I would wash and clean every day.
Well, I mean, it's the clutter, you know, somebody go out with a dustpan and clean it up. You know, and can we,
My superintendent to take a look at it.
while we're waiting for you guys to do this project, could somebody put a sign up to tell those people that they have their own lane? So that they know that they can turn?
We'll absolutely take a look at the sign.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, if you're ready, we will walk to the back of the room and answer any specific questions that you may have. Again, we need those comments. Let us know what your likes and dislikes are. Hey, I want to recognize somebody tonight. I do see one of your elected officials in the room. Yeah, we have Representative Conley here. We want to thank her, certainly a strong supporter for transportation, and she keeps us hooked up on fixing problems like this. Yeah.